As I come to the end of this Cavallini bonanza, recording all 30 of his caprices, I just thought I'd make a little video to explain the background behind it. First of all, Cavallini was an amazing person. He was born in 1807 and he died in 1874. And not only did he play solo clarinet in the La Scala Milan Opera Orchestra, but he also travelled to many countries, including South America and England and Vienna, performing. He was very, very highly regarded, and he actually spent 15 years in St. Petersburg as the clarinet professor there. And not only did he teach clarinet, but listen to this, he actually taught singing as well. So he was an extraordinary man. Apart from the 30 caprices, he composed a clarinet concerto and various other pieces for clarinet and piano, and even a version of Carnival of Venice for E-flat clarinet and piano. He played on a 5-key clarinet. Other people were using more advanced clarinets, but it was made out of boxwood, and that's the instrument that he played on for most of his life. He favoured that over the modern instruments. And the other thing that is quite incredible about his playing is that he played with the reed facing upwards. Now, that's something that went out of fashion a long time ago, but one can only wish that you could hear a recording of his playing. His playing, by all accounts, was extraordinary, and it inspired Verdi to write an enormous solo at the beginning of Act 3 of the Force of Destiny opera. And everything stops on stage whilst Cavallini played this beautiful, ravishing solo by Verdi. So it's not surprising where Cavallini got the idea for many of his melodies, living in the opera house. For me, recording these has been a great distraction throughout the pandemic. And I said when I started the project that by the time I got to Caprice number 30, the pandemic would be over. Well, I'm just about to record Caprice number 30, and sadly, that's not the case. I started recording it here at my teaching studios, which is also, I rent the space, and it's a early childhood music centre. So I started by putting some props in the videos, stuffed animals and so on, just so that the videos wouldn't all look the same. And then I would try and remember to wear a different coloured jumper for the recordings. And then the animals became more popular than actually my playing. So it was just a creative thing that went with the caprices. And the caprices are all about fun and frivolity, so it seemed to be appropriate. And often I would record them at the end of a very long day of teaching. And I might come here at 8:30 at night and try and record a caprice. And sometimes it would go wonderfully well, and I'd get it recorded on the first or the second take. And of course, when you do a video, there's no editing allowed. So these are honest performances. And other times I might record it for 30 times and it still wouldn't be right. And I just have to go home forlorn and try again the next day. And then the next day it might come right on the first time. So it hasn't been easy. And but at the same time, when I have spent a whole long day teaching, I feel a great sense of achievement to do some playing at the end of the day. And I've recorded them on my iPad. I just prop that up on one music stand and I balance my music on the other. One of the problems with this for me, because I have such incredibly bad eyesight, is that the music is very dense on the page and crammed together. Some caprices should be spread over 2 or 3 pages and are crammed onto 2 pages. So just reading the dots is hard. Now, I've had a sort of lifelong relationship with these caprices, and it's been such a pleasure coming back and revisiting them. Some of them I know quite well because they're in the exam syllabus and I teach them endlessly. And other ones, I don't really remember much about them at all. I have recorded them about 20 years ago, but they were just sound recordings, and I have to confess that I edited them together and I could choose the best bits. And it was fun, but not as honest as recording videos. I have used for the whole series, I have a number of different clarinets, but I've used this clarinet, which is a Yamaha Artiste clarinet, and it was virtually brand new when I started, but it's now got quite rattly, and I'm going to sue the Italian government for that. But it's a beautiful instrument. I bought it as a demonstrator and travelled around Australia, and probably a lot of clarinet players had tried it and said, I don't like it. But as soon as I tried it, I just loved it. It's a very resonant instrument. And one of the things that I tried to do was not to have a big hang-up about reeds, because this recording was just how it was on the day, and I would just make do. But you might have noticed that the place where I record them, the studio, has the most glorious acoustic, and it makes everything a real pleasure playing in here. At the moment, there's a bus going around the roundabout, and just behind me is Hornsby Railway Station. So another thing I've not worried about is noise. These are not meant to be hi-fi quality recordings by any means. And then next door to the studio is a second-hand vinyl record shop. And sometimes they get terribly excited and the Bee Gees come through the wall at a terrific volume. I don't worry about that either. It's just what it is. And it's been a lot of fun. And I can't believe how many people have actually followed the course of these Cavallini Caprices. So at some point soon, I'm going to record Caprice number 30. Thanks very much for listening.